Deep in the ocean, an orca pod is on the hunt. But these aren't your average orcas. These guys are organized.
Marketing team, did you get those social media posts scheduled for the SEAL migration?
Aye, Captain. We even have an automated notification for all pod managers when they go live.
They use Monday.com to keep their teamwork sharp, their communication clear, and their goals in sight. Monday.com. For whatever you run, even orcas. Go to Monday.com to dive deeper.
Welcome to Hello Uglies, the Dragula recap show for Season 6, Episode 5, titled Drag the Musical. My name is Joe Betance, and I am joined, as always, by the goddess of glitz, glamour, goth, gossip, and gore herself, the one, the only. Please say hello, Uglies, to Miss Laurian K. Roggenkamp. Hello, Laurian.
Hello.
You know, today I'm fine. You know, Lauri, I'm going to tell you something. You've been ill. We're actually recording this a day late, even though this is being released on Halloween.
Ooh. You should see my face right now. It looks like a skeleton.
Yeah, it does. You're so thin from her Ozempic. I'm jealous.
Oh, I was saying that so I was vomiting so much yesterday that the blood vessels around my eyes broke, so my eyes look sunken and dark, and my face looks white.
Well, your face looked white anyway because you're white.
It looks really white.
So anyway,
Shut up!
I was gonna say don't do that because you're sick.
It hurt. I will say that. I felt it in my stomach.
Well,
like
you'll
it
suffer
hurt
for your art.
doing.
Yeah.
That was that. I shouldn't have done it so soon. It was a bad one.
Everybody should know we had a fantastic, hilarious chat over Just Between Us Girls. Wasn't it funny, Lauri?
That's me laughing at it. What was happening when we were remembering what we were doing.
If you want to listen to that, go over to patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia and join at the executive tier level and above to participate and get all of that delicious Just Between Us ghouls. Also, too, what you could do is scroll up on your Apple Podcast and subscribe. Now, by the way, people on the Hello Uglies feed or whatnot don't realize they didn't get this. And actually, a lot of people didn't get it on the regular feed. Maybe I'll have to repost that thing, Lauri. But, we need you guys to go to patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia and and go to the collections tab and buy special content from us because we need to raise funds. Lauri's already 5 minutes from going by the freeway and asking for money. And that has nothing to do with what we're doing.
I have been doing that. That's why I got sick, because I picked up money off the freeway that people were throwing at me.
I got off the freeway and right after in Marina Del Rey, and I was like, Lauri, what are you doing?
I was like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm making money.
Anyway, this week the ghouls working in teams must perform revised musical numbers from the off-Broadway show Drag the Musical. In the end, Pie was named the winner of the challenge, and the winning team won the privilege to choose two monsters to be put up for elimination. In the end, Auntie Heroin and Vivi the Force faced off in a lip-sync battle for their lives. Literally. After all was said and done, Auntie lived to see another day, while Vivi the Force was forced to passe away. Lauri Roggenkamp, what did you think of that lip sync? And did the right queen, we might as well talk about this now, go home?
Well, yeah, because the producers made it happen. You want to talk about this part?
Yeah, so a lot of people, Lauri, believe it or not, they do not watch the show. They just listen to our show. And so since we start at the end, we have to explain this. So we'll get to this eventually, but a quick version of what happened is there were two teams that had to perform a musical number. The winning team was told to go back to the cauldron and to, among themselves, select two members of the other team to be put up for extermination. So they all get together, they chat, they talk about it. And we're going to talk about that in detail later. But they decide that they want to put up the two strongest contestants, which would be gray matter and anti-heroin, and they're all in unanimous agreement about this. Not even like, no one is even like raising any doubts or anything. They're just like, yeah, gray matter, anti-heroin, it's done, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to go out there, we're going to say gray matter, anti-heroin. And then they all go out, and one by one, they each say anti-heroin and Vivi the Force. And then they go, yeah, go ahead, Lauri.
But what's funny is they all say it same way, which makes you know that a producer stopped them.
Yes.
And talked to them because they said, now that I've thought about it, I want to play this truthfully. Mm-hmm. And I also want to do it where I feel like we're voting for people that deserve to go home.
Yeah.
So I'm voting for Vivi. And it's like, you don't feel that way at all.
None of this thought process was filmed on camera.
Never. No. Not a single. And they all had such similar ways that they were saying it that you were like, for a fact that a producer was like, guys, don't you want to play this truthfully and vote somebody who should go home? And it was so stupid. It was so stupid.
But guys, it's weird that they also packaged it like this, because what you guys should understand is in the cauldron, so we agree, and we agree. And then they walk out of the cauldron. So if you're believing the story of the show, is they walked out of the cauldron, and from the 10-second walk from the cauldron to the stage, they all decided unanimously to swap out gray matter for Vivi the Force.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was so stupid.
Yeah. So, and then they go, which by the way, Vivi the Force conveniently was the one who was supposed to go home last week.
Yeah. And magically she went home this week.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk? Yeah. And look, Vivi the Force was horrible, and, she didn't do as well on the lip sync as anti-heroin, and so she was the right person to get the chop. But, yeah, Lauri, it was just so, but here's the deal. And I've thought about this is, look, Drag Race does similar shit, but what's funny is they at least would make the girls would do this really bad acting thing and be like, you know what, maybe they would film it and like sort of justify it. They wouldn't do this thing where it's just like randomly all of a sudden.
Well, it's just the laziness of it. That's the thing that gets me, is that they clearly are producing. But you would think with Drag Race, they at least have the queen say in the workroom. They'll let's say they all say, we're going to vote for gray matter and anti-heroin. Well, then they would say, guys, we're going to kick off Vivi the Force. So you need to, in the workroom, say you're going to vote for Vivi the Force. You need to go back and say that. And then they would say, okay, let's go back. In this one, they're like, okay, we're going to vote for anti-heroin and gray matter. And then they're like, oh, we're going to kick off Vivi the Force. So just at the end, just say you changed your mind. That's fine. We'll figure it out. And it's no, it's so stupid.
They should have just told them, if that's what they wanted, they should have just told them to begin with. Because it reminds me of when I was 18. I was newly 18 years old, right? And I had to get my wisdom teeth pulled out. And the orthodontist or the oral surgeon, whoever does that, wanted to put me under. And so I told my parents, like, oh, yeah, he wants to put me under. They got really freaked out. My parents are very afraid of general anesthesia.
Okay.
And they were like, we don't think you should do it. And I go, well, I don't think I want to be awake when they're like yanking my wisdom teeth out, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, please, right? And they were like literally like yelling at me not to do general anesthesia. And up to the night before, and I go to sleep, I wake up the next morning, and my dad is driving me to the oral surgeon. And he goes, your mom and I talked about it. And you're an adult now. And you can decide whatever you want. I go, thank you. And so I go into the oral surgeon. I'm in the chair, and the oral surgeon comes in and he goes, okay, so we're going to do general anesthesia. And then the nurse comes up. She was like, and he goes, okay, well, your parents said now you're just going to do local. And my parents changed it, and I did local anesthesia. So I'm like, well, then why don't they just say they're gonna make it be the case, right? Why go through the whole song and dance?
I think they thought the doctor would do it more slyly.
Yeah.
And would do it, but they didn't even try and do it slyly.
No, they didn't even try at all.
Yeah, they were just like, yeah, no, we're gonna do it the way we want to do it.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's what happened. And
that's so nice of your parents. My mom would have been like, "What? Why are you telling me to go fuck myself by not listening to what I'm saying?"
So do you agree Vivi the Fourth should have gone home though? Like in general?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I can't stress how many times she's come on the in a confessional and I've been like, oh, she's here. Yeah. She's still in this episode. She's not entertaining.
No.
She's just, I mean, look, she seems like a nice enough person, but she's just not, I mean, cut to the beginning when they told her, hey, we all walked in pairs except for you. And she's like, I don't know. Like, she had no comment. She had nothing interesting to say.
Okay, that's actually a good transition. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break? And when we come back, we're going to talk about the very moment that Lauri Roggenkamp is talking about. We'll be back right after this. Hey everyone, Joe here. It feels like everywhere you look these days, people are talking about weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy. But here's the thing. You don't have to be a celebrity to have access to these kinds of treatments. Thanks to hers, getting the help you need to manage your weight is way more affordable and accessible. Weight loss isn't one size fits all, trust me. I wish. If you're like me and have struggled to shed those extra pounds, you know how frustrating it can be to find something that works. That's where hers comes in. They're shaking up women's healthcare by offering personalized weight loss programs that fit your specific needs, whether it's GLP-1 injections or oral medication kits. What I love about hers is that you're not just getting the meds and sent on your way. They connect you with a medical provider who works with you every step of the way, making adjustments, answering questions, and offering real support. Plus, it's 100% online with no extra costs. And get this, their GLP-1 injections start at just $199 a month with a 12-month subscription, no hidden fees, and they ship straight to your door for free. That deal is so good, it's criminal. Start your free online visit today at forhers.com/crime. That's forhers.com/crime for your personalized weight loss treatment options. forhers.com/crime. Hers weight loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions apply.
Listen in. Starbucks. It's a great day for coffee.
It feels like you can get your credit scores anywhere these days. Random websites, card statements, budgeting apps, heck, even your dog might bark out a few numbers. It's true. Credit Karma isn't the only place you can find them. But we actually do more with your scores to help you find your next financial opportunity. Like a more rewarding credit card, a game plan that helps you pay down debt faster, or a personal loan to help you save more on interest payments each month. Cha-ching! The possibilities are kinda endless. Download Intuit Credit Karma today to get started.
And we are back. After the extermination challenge, the remaining queens walk back into the lab in pairs and seem confused as to what's going on. They wonder who was murdered. When Vivi walks in, followed by Grey Matter, the girls learn via note that Majesty had chosen to leave the competition. The girls speculate as to what happened and say their goodbyes to Majesty just as the alarm sounds. And the Boulet brothers appear via video screen to announce this week's main challenge. It's a musical. Specifically, some numbers have been rewritten from Drag the Musical starring Alaska. The girls working in teams must learn, choreograph, and sing a selection as well as perform as a cohesive ensemble. Now, there's not much to discuss with that video message, but there is a lot to discuss with everything that happened after the extermination in the lab. Lauri, what did you think of that whole segment?
Well, first they go in and they Pi and Asia are the first two.
Yeah.
And they're like, why is this happening? And why are we the only ones here? And it was just like, yeah, clearly something's going on.
Yeah.
But I just love how nobody had any guesses. They were just like, why are we here? What do you think's going to happen? Why are we here? And nobody had any anything to add.
Mm-hmm.
I also love that when Pi and Asia were talking, they were saying that their alliance is going to be making moves soon. And I'm like, what moves are you making? And then on top of that, they went from, they're so in sync that they went from Asia saying she wants to add anti-heroin to the alliance to Pi saying she wants to get rid of anti-heroin.
Yeah.
And then both being like, yeah, let's get rid of her. And it's like, you guys are so close to adding her to the alliance. Ugh,
okay.
So stupid.
I have that note about like, we're going to be making moves soon. I'm like, what? Yeah, I was with you. I was like, what moves? What moves are you making? Okay. But I want to talk. So I want to ask you a question before I say what I'm going to say. So in your universe, they truly don't know what's going on.
I think they do because they didn't say anything. And they're such bad actors.
Horrible actors.
That the reason why they didn't say anything is because the only answer they can think of is the answer they were given. You know what I'm saying? So they can't be like, why are we only brought in? Are we going into different groups? Are we getting separated into teams? You know, they never said anything. They just kept asking why. And it's because they kept telling themselves, don't say what's really happening.
Well, what's funny is, and look, there is a thing, the acting is horrible, right? And there is a thing on these reality shows. So this might totally be the case that when they drive from the hotel to the studio into the thing, they're on ice. Okay. They can't talk. All right. But they go in a van. They don't go in, they don't all go by different, like they don't go by 9 Ubers, right? They're all put into a big van or a couple of vans, and then they go to the studio. They may not be allowed to talk, but they drive together. So they would have seen that Majesty is not in the van. Okay. Yeah. And I totally believe that they bring the girls that were up for extermination or the one who survived in a separate car. I believe that, right? I believe the girls are genuinely surprised when they see who walks in. Okay. But they would have seen that Majesty wasn't in the car. So if any worst case scenario, right, they would have known that Majesty, I'm trying to think logically here. They would have known Majesty didn't come back with it. Not only that, Majesty quits and we see behind the camera, on behind the scenes. So that means before they all went back to the hotel, Majesty probably didn't go back with them.
Yeah.
You know? So they would have known that this drama occurred. So like that already, even let's say that they weren't allowed to talk about it, that's horrible acting, right? But now let's buy into the story of the show. They're saying, right, that they all came back, right?
They all came back after filming.
Yeah, what is this here? Hold on. Wait, why don't I have that? Oh my gosh. Hold on. I was hoping I had, I don't have it. Like footsteps. I have the footsteps from the Lauri episodes, you know?
Oh, okay.
Which, by the way, while I'm looking for them, I'm not making Lauri episodes right now. Even though I have the entire season mapped out. Like, I know exactly what happens.
Uh-huh.
I'm not making new episodes because I missed last week and not one person said a word. So I think, and by the way, on the Discord, no one ever discusses Lauri. So I'm like, well, why am I going to put all this work if they don't like it?
I think it's fun.
I'll send it to you. I'll make it. You know what? I would. I won't. You know what, Lauri? There's a new tier. It's called the Lauri tier. I'm going to make content specifically for you. You know?
This is my dream.
Yeah.
This is my...
I'm going to make content specifically for you and only so I'm going to make the entire series of Lauri.
Okay.
I'm not even joking. I will do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. So you don't care when it comes out. I will do episodes 3 and 4 tomorrow, and I'm going to send them to you.
I just get a hoot at how good the Lauri AI is at getting my voice now. Like,
well, you know, it's funny that you say that. I was thinking about what am I going to do if Lauri's too sick to do the show today, and I was going to maybe have AI Lauri be the co-host.
It would be easy. You just have to add your stuff and interrupt you talking, and then add all your stuff.
Okay. So back to the show. I don't even know where we were on the show, but the point. Oh, I know what it was. In the story of the show, I guess I'll have to do this naturally, right? In the story of the show, they go in the van, right?
Yeah.
And then this is what they did. And they walked quietly from the car to the room. And then when they walked in the room, they were like, what's going on?
I will say this. I agree with you, right? I do agree with you. But I will also say that there have been times where things have happened around me and I have been so oblivious to what has happened. I one time was interning at UCB, and there's a back... and if people don't know where UCB in Los Angeles is, it's connected to a restaurant called Birds. So you enter in the back area of Birds.
I think someone told me they changed the name, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it was called Birds. I don't know if they changed it. Yeah. I haven't been there in forever. But you enter the back area. There's a door that connects to like the side street, right? So you can exit through the side street. So one time I clearly remember I had to walk to my car. So I went out through that exit and I walked to my car and I came back in. In that time, the manager of Birds came and talked to the worker at UCB, and they said that I let people in to from the back entrance, and they stole a keg from Birds. And I was like, I don't remember letting anyone in. Yeah. And they had video. They had video of me opening. I walk out and I open the door and 3 people walk in. And I was like, I don't remember that at all. And I was like, and literally they were like, she's in on it. Like she's part of it. And the lady I worked with was just like, no, I just think she's so dumb that she didn't realize what was happening.
Well, no, but that happens.
Oh my God. Oh, jeez.
When I used to live in apartments, that had like a code or something, there were countless times where I was leaving and someone like, hold the door for me. And I'm like, oh, okay. I just held the door. It could have been a total murderer or robber or something like that.
Yeah. I only do that. I will say this. I only do that for people of color. I only hold the door open for people of color. If it's a white person, I'm like, you can find your own way into this place. Like, I'm not letting you in. But if it's a person of color, if they go, hey, hold the door. Or a lot of times it's food delivery people. If it's a food delivery person, regardless of whatever, I'll let them in. Because almost everybody in, I think our building keeps Uber Eats alive in Los Angeles area. Because we're like, literally, Uber drivers are coming in and out of this place. But if it's a white person, if it's a white man, I'm locking the gate and holding it shut. Like, I'm like, you're not getting in here. So
funny. Okay. So then they go inside. They're like, I don't know what's going on. And when Pi and Asia are around alone, they go, Pi's like, I'm going to use this opportunity to talk to her about the alliance because alone time here in the mansion doesn't exist. Well, first of all, it's the first time I've ever called the mansion. But 2, what are you talking about? They are constantly
pulling each other.
Yeah. Okay, talk to you about yourself. What are you talking about? You guys are constantly alone. In fact, those 2 have had 2 lengthy instances of being alone together.
And I love that Asia goes in her confessional. She's like, the alliance is really just to say we have an alliance, but we're about to make some big moves. And it's like, so you literally just said that the alliance is just for show. It's not anything. But then reversed it and said, no, we're about to do stuff with this alliance. Like, it made no sense.
No, it made no sense at all. I did love the irony that the acting was bad on the week of an acting challenge when they were like, what are you talking about? And then everybody comes in, and then Vivi comes in first, and then Gray comes in, and then they're like, what is going on? Where is Majesty? And this is, honestly, this is kind of what it felt like. Do I have that? I don't have any Lauri. All my sound effects are all over the place. Cause I'm going to do, there is a sound effect if you go in like, I don't know where I am. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm not here. Anyway, they're like, and a random producer just comes in and drops a note.
Yeah,
and they
just,
read it, yeah,
and just sends a note, and it's written by Majesty.
It's written by Majesty.
But what I love is like, this is how bad the production is there. They didn't bother putting a video or anything together. They just were like, here's a note. This is what we're going to do. Read the note.
Well, my whole question, I'm going to bring this up now, is now that we know, so everyone who, especially people who don't listen or don't watch the show, last week they did an extermination challenge where the girls were hanging onto a cage, and the first one to let go would be the loser and be exterminated. And then all of a sudden we just see like a random skeleton, you know?
Yeah.
Holding onto the cage. And we don't know who that is. We're like, oh my God, who is it? And that was never answered. Because in the storyline, would that mean that Majesty was like, well, let me randomly walk into this room and grab the cage?
Yeah, that's right. Who was the skeleton?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they were brought back from the dead. That's what they could say.
Maybe the story is that Majesty went in there and decided to quote unquote unalive herself and held on to the cage. But then what would mean like we never saw who won?
Can we also talk about why Majesty left? I will say I totally didn't think she was going to leave, so I was wrong.
We know.
But I will say that I think her explanation was total bullshit.
Wait, hold on. Lauri, somebody's calling.
Oh, who's calling?
Let me get it. Hold on. Hello?
Hi, Lauri. This is Schmlurgen McFlurgen here at the Drag Race Podcast Federation.
Oh, my God.
You weren't wrong.
Oh.
Huh.
Okay.
I wonder how that works.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, wait, you know what? You're right. Sorry. Hold on. Lauri, we have a voice memo on SpeakPipe.
Oh,
I'm
we've
gonna
done
play
this
it right
already.
now. Yeah.
Okay. Take two.
Let me just play the SpeakPipe message.
Hi, this is Schlurgen McFlurgen from the Drag Podcast Federation. Lauri,
His
I know
name
you
always
think you were
changes.
wrong, but you weren't wrong. We are not because Majesty self-disqualified. It does not count against you for being wrong. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Smurgan McBurgan. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't believe... Yeah. I think this is my genuine feeling. I think she realized she wasn't going to win, and she took herself out. I think she was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I think she also realized that all the shit that she was trying to produce on the show, like the thing about Aurora leaking that she was on the show, that didn't pan out. You know, all the stuff that she was trying to do, it just wasn't coming, and so she just was like, I'm gonna bow out. I don't want to do this.
Well, the other thing too is like people weren't buying into her shit maybe the way they were in season 2 as well.
Yeah. And I also loved when she was like fake crying, because I do honestly feel like she was fake crying.
Oh, 100%. She was like, I'm leaving.
Yeah. And she goes over to that woman, that poor woman, the PA, to hug her. And you could tell that woman didn't want to hug her.
I was like, what? Don't touch me.
You could tell that woman was like, why are you making me do this?
Well, yeah, this is awkward.
But yeah, she's like, I just don't want to see myself on television. It's like, what? I don't want to see myself on television. So I don't do things to make myself go. I don't join reality competition shows to make myself on television.
Yeah.
It was so stupid.
I don't fill out an application and go through an interview process, multiple interviews.
Yeah.
And, pack my bags and fly to Los Angeles. And, go on TV for multiple weeks. Yeah. So, if you remember last week, Anti-Heroine was really kind of all of a sudden really bitter towards Majesty on the show.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then this week was kind of like, well, she got rid of herself. She self-eliminated, so whatever, right? But what we haven't talked about, because we haven't had a show since then, is the rumor is that the fight with Desiree may have gotten kind of violent. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe she was asked to quit, right? There may have been some physical altercation. And so people were
like Majesty attacked?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. This is a rumor. It's allegedly. And so people were thinking that Auntie, who was friendly with Desiree Dix, was really pissed at Majesty for this physical altercation that took place. If it's true, that would explain why they were being so cunty towards them. All right, let's move on. For the choreo session, we learned the teams are as follows. There's one team called Rat House, and that consists of Gray Matter, Anti-Heroine, Vivi the Force, and Yuri. And then the other team is known as Snake Pit, and that's Pi, Asia Consent, Aurora Gosmic, and Jaharia. Let me see. Later, the girls work out the choreography. Team Snake Pit is ahead of the pack, while Rat Trap struggles to find their footing. For the singing lesson, Alaska enters the workroom to work with the girls. The creatures fangirl over a drag legend. Alaska shares the origins of the musical. And finally, Alaska gives some advice to the girls before saying goodbye. It's Extermination Day, and the creatures get ready for the performance. The girls check in with each other and talk about how much fun they had. Again, not a lot happens as per usual in the episode. Outside of the drama, nothing really happens. Anything on that choreo session for you, Lauri, that comes to mind?
Well, I just thought it was weird that maybe I was wrong, but didn't they mention that they weren't going to be singing it, lip syncing it?
I thought that did they mention
they were going to be lip syncing it, so there wasn't a reason for them to sing it out loud, but she wanted to just see how they looked when they were singing it. And then, so that was the only thing that I thought was weird, was that they made a big push to say they were
tried
lip-syncing.
They tried to make up for that, because Drac says something like, "You should have seen their face when I told them they'd be singing live." And I was like, I don't remember you ever saying that to them. So they were trying to probably compensate for that or something. I don't know. It was really weird.
Yeah. So that was weird. I thought that, I don't know. The musical itself, I don't understand. I don't understand how it's called Drag the Musical, but it's about snakes and rats. That didn't make any sense to me.
So what I do know is that from the musical, I saw this online, though that's not the names of the song. I think it's called, this one's called Rat House, it's called Cat House, and I forget what the snake one is called. It's called something else, right? And in the musical, it's about two different teams of drag queens going against each other or something.
Oh, so they just changed it to fit Dragula.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was fine. I thought that Jaharia's dance moves weren't that amazing, but they were acting like she was, the best choreo. Like, they were like, "Wow, girl, you can really choreo." And it was like, I feel like, except for the splits, I was like, I feel like I could do some of those. Like, these queens were struggling at stuff that I was like, I don't know if this would be something you struggle with. So.
Did you? So there wasn't. I literally had to look for. I know the answer. I know Auntie was not wearing socks, but it took me the longest time to see if Anti-Heroine was wearing knee-high socks, or if that was her skin. Her skin was so white, I thought she was wearing like super white socks.
No, she's just very white.
Yeah, she's very, very white. When they were showing like the choreo montage, maybe they were doing this on purpose. All I ever saw was Auntie's team. That would be the Rat House. All they were doing was just snapping.
Yeah.
The entire time. I didn't really see any dance moves when they were working with the choreographer.
Yeah. And then they tried to do that thing where the choreographer's like, yeah, I don't know about this. And which I never understand, because I'm like, you're the choreographer. Like, I feel like whenever, like, these drag shows sort of put a new spin on choreographers, is like, they're not responsible for helping you understand the dance moves. Like,
yeah,
if I was a choreographer and I was watching somebody fail at dancing that I taught them, I'd be like, "Ooh, I suck as a teacher and a choreographer." But on these shows, the choreographer's like, "Well, if you don't know it, it's your fault, not mine."
Asshole.
Yeah, it's like, "Ooh, I can't believe you suck at this," and it's like, I feel like that's a reflection of you, dude. So,
what did you think of this session with Alaska?
I don't know. I thought it was kind of boring. I mean, she's an magnanimous person, but, I don't feel like it was really, it wasn't anything amazing. They just sort of fawned over her, and then that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, it was billed as a singing lesson, and I didn't see her do any singing lessons. It seems like almost like a meet and greet with Alaska. Yeah.
They pretty much just had everyone sing, and then they would go like, "No, that's not good," you know, and that was it.
Did you have any thoughts on the on floor show day?
I thought it was funny that Gray Matter was like really like, yeah, I was having a lot of fun. I thought we did a great job. I made everyone knows this. I was really fun. And then it was just crickets and nobody else was responding. And Gray Matter was like, well, I guess not.
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny.
All right, let's go to that Maxi Challenge presentation. Did you have any? Okay, so they again, Rat House did a performance of a song. What did you think of Rat House's performance of their song?
Oh, it was awful. It was
Lauri.
awful.
Lauri, it was. I've been telling people about it. I told Robert, I go, I know you're not watching Dragula. You have to watch this singing performance. They did them dirty. Like there was no reverb, there was no mixing, there was just like raw singing. So if you're ready, like let me tell you this, even a good singer would not have sounded that great.
No.
So like,
I mean, Jaharia sounded great when they were doing the thing, and then she sounded terrible. Here's what I think happened. Because we show singing to the live track playing of the song, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think what happened was they told them they were going to be lip syncing, and that they were going to lip sync, but they had to sing out the words. So they sing, right? But they think that it's going to show up as them just lip syncing from the song, and then they tell them, no, we actually are going to show you fully singing. And I think that was the play out thing they did because I think they fooled them into thinking that it was just going to be lip syncing, and it wasn't.
Oh, you know what? You might be right. That makes more sense because, like, Vivi was awful, by the way. Vivi was like
terrible.
Terrible, guys. Terrible in a way that I would be embarrassed if I was her. Like, I would not show up to work the next day.
To be perfectly frank, it was so bad that I was like, what do you do as a drag artist? Like, what's your thing?
Yeah. You
can't lip sync. You can't dance. You can't sing. You can't. Mm-hmm. What do you do that makes you unique? Do you just walk out in different clothes?
Yeah, I think the problem you run into in Dragula is a lot of these queens are essentially, in drag world, they call them bedroom queens or whatever the Dragula version of that is, where they probably either like cosplay or they make costumes and they show them on Instagram and whatnot, but they don't really perform. I mean, are there a lot of venues for these kind of performers? Maybe there are, but I'm imagining it's much more limited. So I think a lot of times maybe they just do things and put it on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I could see that.
I'm making it up. Snake Pit, what'd you think? Not
great either. I mean, they were, possibly slightly better. I mean, at least they were kept up with the speed of the song, But I mean, that's not saying much.
Mm-hmm.
Their dance moves weren't even that great, but at least they were cohesive in their terribleness.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I thought their costumes weren't really amazing.
They got a critique from the Belay Brothers that their characterization was they had no character. I'm like, what does that mean? I really don't understand what that means. What did they mean characterization?
But we didn't even know what their characters were. Like we knew the rats. We knew that we knew the rats were characters because they said they were characters. I will say this going back to the thing with, I loved when Alaska asks who's the New Zealand or the Australian one?
Yuri.
What's her name? Yuri. I love it. What's your character? What? Tell me about sexy rat. And she goes, well, she's sexy and she's a rat. I was just like, yeah. I mean, what the fuck else is there gonna be? Like, I thought that was funny. But
I don't think they have a lot of deep thoughts.
We didn't get any characterization for the snakes. They were just snakes.
I see what you're saying. Where the rats, they were like clearly rats with like different. Okay. All right. So then what happens is that happens and they do the feedback from the judges. Well, the Boulets do their private conference and the feedback from the judges. And in the end, the winning team is the Snake Pit. They win. And then of the Snake Pit members, they choose Pie. I have no idea why they chose Pie, but they chose Pie as the winner.
I mean, I feel like, look, I personally, if we're going based off characterization, which seemed to be a big deal for them, I felt like the Rats should have won.
Yeah.
But if we're going based off performance, then Snake should have won. And Pie, I felt, did the best job out of all of them. Although I do love that it pissed Jaharia off to no end. That they kept complimenting Pie's dance moves, and it was all Jaharia's choreography.
Yeah. Well,
which I thought was funny. So, I think it was just that they didn't think that Pie could do those dance moves. That's what I think happened. Is she did those moves, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know Pie could move like that."
Yeah, but Jaharia's won already, right? I could see them also saying, "Well, we need to give Pie a win."
Pie hasn't won. I thought Pie won.
No, this was the first time Pie had won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then, so then they go, "Oh, you're the winning team. Well, you get to go to the cauldron and you get to pick 2 of the members of the other team to be put up for extermination." So then they go to the cauldron by themselves. But
I want to talk about this for a second. Just a hot second. I have a comment to make about this. Ever since the first episode, which is the last time they've had to put queens up for elimination, they have acted like they are judge, jury, and fucking executioner on this show. They have acted like, I'm gonna vote you. I'm gonna do this. You guys better watch out. I'm gonna do this. And they have been saying they've been waiting for that moment again. And then they get told that they're gonna be choosing who the queens are going home. And you would have thought they had said, you have to pick which puppy you want to kill. Yeah. Like, they were so upset. They're like, no, I don't want to do that. No, don't make me do. It's like, okay. Then what the fuck is this all about? What are you doing here?
It's like the dog who chases the postal truck or whatever. I think that's the metaphor or something people use. Like, they don't know what to do. They just chase the mail truck, but they don't know what to do once they get it. So then they go into the cauldron, and this is something they do something that makes no sense. So they've been tasked with going to the cauldron and coming up together with who they want to vote out. Okay?
Yeah.
Or to be up for extermination. Why do they break up into pairs and whisper in different sides of the room?
I don't know.
So we go to the cauldron, and Jaharia and Aurora are in one corner going like, "But what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do? I don't know. What do you do?
And then Asia and Pi are another coin going like, "We're gonna put." But I think anti-hero. And then they all like, "Okay, let's go talk to the others." I'm like, "Why were you broken up into pairs?
Why didn't you just come together as a group?"
Yes, it made no sense.
When they send a jury back to deliberate, they don't all break up into 2 teams and then come back together and be like, "All right, this group voted guilty."
Yeah.
It's just so stupid.
It made no sense.
They honestly, I feel like they did that because they wanted to extend that moment for a bit. And they knew if they had them all just sit together and talk, they would have been like, let's vote anti-heroin and gray matter. Great.
All right, let's go back. Yeah. All right. On the main stage, the Snake Pit is named the winning team, while Pie is singled out as the winner of the challenge. As part of their win, the Snake Pit must return to the cauldron and nominate 2 monsters from the other team to be put up for extermination. The girls kiki and decide to nominate Gray Matter and Anti-Heroin because they are both the strongest competition. When the girls return to the stage, though, they've magically changed their minds and unanimously vote for Anti-Heroin and Vivi the Force to be put up for extermination, forcing them to face off in a lip-sync battle for their lives. The song, I have no idea what that song was. In the end, Vivi the Force is asked to sashay away and then walks off stage and is murdered. Like, it's a very boring murder. She just walks off stage and someone hits her with a hammer in the end.
No, they don't. They inject her.
Oh, that's right. They inject her, too.
But what's so crazy is they take so much time setting it up. And I'm just like, push her down the stairs. Like, let's get it over with. Why are we showing you going through the thing and picking up the hammer and then getting the fluid to inject her? So much effort is put into this murder for some reason.
Well, also the murder makes no sense logically. The Boulets are still on stage. She's like, bye, I've been eliminated, walks off the stage, and then immediately one of the Boulets murders her. And it is supposed to be like, all right, Uglies, well, you've made it through. Hold on, track. I'll be right back. Okay. And then she walks off the stage, and then all of a sudden she's just like, I don't have my footstep thing. And then it's like, and then goes back to the judging panel.
Well, a real opportunity was wasted where they should have just had it. They should have filmed the murder on the stage. So they just said, okay, Vivi the Force, we're going to exterminate you. And then they just drop an anvil on her. I don't know. Something crazy.
They're very afraid of referencing Drag Race, but what would have been really funny is at the end of Untucked on Drag Race, the queen gets into the van with some unnamed driver and drives off and goes, blows kisses out the window. It's like, bye, I'll see you next, see you on Instagram, follow me here. But if they would have shown the same sort of image of Vivi getting in the van, but we don't see that the Boulets are driving. One of the Boulets is actually driving the van, and then the van drives off, and then you see them kill her in the silhouette. They need
that
to
would
have
have been good.
Yeah, that would have been good. Anyway, any other final thoughts on the episode, Lauri?
No, I just thought the singing and it was just terrible. Yeah, it was god awful.
Guys, we kind of underplayed it because we're having like technical issues. So I'm like trying to get through this episode, but we should tell you guys. I should make it clear here. The singing, you should go even see if you can find the singing online somewhere. Just watch the singing part. It's literally some of the worst singing and dancing I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's so bad. And what's so funny is they all pat themselves on the back that they got through everything so quickly. And they're able to, they're like, oh, you Dragula girls work quickly. And they're like, yeah, we do. We get this done. And then it's like, you guys suck at this. Like, you should be ashamed of what you've just done.
And people have pointed this out but we've talked about how the Boulets lie all the time. And it's like, the proof is in the pudding when they're like, you guys were so good. They're like, no, they were objectively horrible.
Yes. They were really bad.
They were really, really, really bad. People, if you love watching train wrecks, go watch both performances, even though one is markedly worse than the other one. Go watch the train wrecks.
Pi won, and if this had been a drag race show, she would have been at the bottom. Like, she would have been the worst one.
Yeah. 100%.
I was so. I mean, the acting challenge really went to the Boulet brothers and the judges. Yeah. For them pretending like any of them did a good job.
I don't know if the acting was that good. All right, well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Hello Uglies. Be sure to join us next week and every week as we continue to discuss, dissect, and deconstruct each brand new episode of Dragula Season 666. So, for Laurian K, Roggenkamp, and myself.
So long, Uglies.
Thank you for listening to Hello Uglies. Have something to say? Leave us a message at speakpipe.com/afterthoughtmedia. For access to more LGBTQ content and other Afterthought Media shows, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. Hello Uglies is an Afterthought Media podcast.
This message comes from BetterHelp. Can you think of a time when you didn't feel like you could be yourself? Like you were hiding behind a mask? At work, in social settings, around your family? BetterHelp Online Therapy is convenient, flexible, and can help you learn to be your authentic self, so you can stop hiding. Because masks should be for Halloween fun, not for your emotions. Take off the mask with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P.com.